May I begin, ma'am? Poonam, ma'am? Now we are having about more than 78, 80 participants. Very good morning. Shaista, ma'am? Hello. Am I audible in the meeting?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yeah,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes.
You're
So,
audible.
ma'am, shall I begin then? We'll begin.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. A very good afternoon to all. Myself, Dr. Shubhangi Pancha, Assistant Professor of Dayanand College of Law, Latur. I extend my wholehearted and warm welcome to our guest and all to the principal of Navjivan Law College, principal of Dayanand Law College, all the delegates, all the dignitaries, and all the students to today's webinar. This is a virtual and an August gathering, which is studded with legal luminaries and stalwarts, which are in the form of our honorable resource person and the chief guests. On behalf of the organizers, today, on occasion of the Human Rights Day, on celebration of the Human Rights Day, the 10th of December, today we have gathered here for conducting and for participating in the international webinar on impact of artificial intelligence on human rights. On behalf of the organizers, that is Dayanand Education Societies, Dayanand College of Law, and and Navjivan Education Societies, and Navjivan Law College, Nashik, we wholeheartedly welcome every one of you to this particular international webinar. We have with us our today's resource person, Professor Dr. Angelo Ferrari, sir, and we welcome you, sir, for this webinar. And we are having about more than 90 participants presently. Many of them are still joining. So I would like to invite the principal of Dayanand College of Law, Dr. Poonam Nathani, madam, to please extend the welcome to our guests.
Thank you, Shubhagi Madam. Respected our today's business person, Dr. Angelo Ferraro from Italy, Chief Guest of the program, who will be joining us, Honorable Sri Makaran Karnik, sir, Judge High Court of Bombay, Mumbai, Honorable Dr. Gerald Joseph, Human Rights Consultant, former Human Rights Commissioner from Malaysia, Dr. Sahista Inamdar, Madam, Principal of Naujivan Law College, coordinators of the program from Latur College, from Nasik College. Very good afternoon. Actually, good morning to our resource person. Good afternoon to one and all. On behalf of Dayanand Education Societies, Dayanand College of Law, Latur,
Hello,
and
ma'am.
Naujivan Law College, Nasik. Yes, ma'am.
मी
Am I
आहेत का
audible?
मॅडम ऑलरेडी मीटिंग मध्ये
I express my sincere gratitude to the dignitaries for gracing the occasion and taking the time to address the students in spite of your busy schedule, sir. I am very thankful to the dignitaries, to the resource person of today's program. Actually, we are very glad to receive you at this virtual platform. These are rare opportunities we get to hear the pulse of wisdom from the luminaries and get the chance to improve the existing system through the exchange of ideas and get insight to the latest trends. I am very thankful to Inamdar Madam in whose collaboration we have arranged this program. Sir, both the colleges actually are imparting legal and professional education to the young and aspiring youth of our region. But we are continuously striving to give value-based education to our students. Our focus is not only to make them professionals, but to make good human beings. Actually, today is a very special day for all of us. Today we are celebrating Human Rights Day. So let us pledge to respect and protect the human rights of all and reduce inequalities from society. Regarding the topic which we have selected for the conference is really very relevant in the present scenario, where the work of humans are substituted by technological development, by computer application, and there is huge transformation of human society into robots and machines. Where, but during this process, Many phenomena are biased and discriminatory. Continuously, there is violation of human rights. So we need to know which are the areas where rights are violated and the remedies, what remedies can we seek. So on this Human Rights Day, I extend my warm greetings to one and all, which reminds us of our great duties to the mankind, and hope that we will be having very fruitful session. Thank you. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am. With a very brief but very cozy welcome to everyone. Actually, today, as Madam said, we all know that today we are celebrating the International Human Rights Day. 10th December is observed as the International Human Rights Day to commemorate the adoption of Universal Declaration of Human Rights by the United Nations General Assembly in 1948. The theme of this year, that is December 2022, is dignity, freedom, and justice for all. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, it proclaims the inviolable, inalienable, and universal rights which are available to all by the virtue of being the human being. Though the goal of realization of these human rights have been achieved to some extent, but still we must not lose the sight of so many present and future challenges we are facing on the counters of the human rights, especially the advent and the advancement of the artificial intelligence actually has posed many questions. Artificial intelligence has revolutionized our everybody's life, every sector of the human life. Rather, it has made it very faster, speedier, easy, and accurate. But it has also risked many of the counters of the human rights. And being the members of the legal fraternity, it is our prime duty and it is very much pertinent and urgent to dwell upon, to deliver upon the intersections of artificial intelligence and the human rights. Hence, with this frame of reference, because this intersection of artificial intelligence and human rights, we have to think about, we have to assess the utility of artificial intelligence, the limitations of artificial intelligence, the risks which are involved, about the data privacy and so on. Our respected resource person will be talking on it, guiding us on it. But it is with this frame of reference that today both the colleges, Navjeevan Law College and Dayanand Education Society's Dayanand Law College, have arranged this webinars. And once again, I heartily welcome each and every one of you to this webinar. Our next session will be, the first session will be given by the resource person. But before that, sir would like to give a glimpse of your introduction. I'm very much lucky that I can introduce you as our special resource person to the meeting. First of all, I actually apologize if suppose I miss out something, because the range, the scope of your achievements and contribution to the legal fraternity is very much, which I could only briefly tell over here. Professor Dr. Angelino Ferraro is an aggregate professor and the Erasmus coordinator at the Department of Law, Economics and Human Science of the Mediterranea University of Calabria, Italy. Sir is also the director of an international LLM in European private law and of the Mediterranean International Center for Human Rights Research. Sir also teaches at Krakow University of Economics in Poland, the Plenau Russian University of Economics, Moscow, and the Universidade Federal de Sergipe in Brazil. He was a speaker at many conferences, seminars, and roundtable conferences, and also has been invited lectures for so many universities, more than 80 universities, foreign universities. Sir had delivered the lectures, which include many universities in Europe, South America, Russia, and China. Sir has written 2 books and is a co-author of 5 books, and of course, an author of so many numerous articles and on civil liability, consumer law, antitrust law, family law, and fundamental rights. Of course, these are only a few which I could mention here, but sir, your contribution, which I've seen on the website and all this, is much more. With this brief introduction, I would like to invite our resource person of this international webinar, Professor Dr. Angelo sir, to please guide us on the topic.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much. I am extremely grateful, first of all, to Dr. Inamdar for the invitation and to all the authorities. For me, it's a great pleasure and a real honor to be here. I think that it was a wonderful idea to organize this conference in this day, which is so important, the International Human Rights Day. And it was a great idea to choose this topic, the impact of artificial intelligence on human rights. Because today, artificial intelligence can create big risks for human rights, as you said some minutes ago. For me, it's a pleasure to be here also because we have a great relations with Indian universities, with Indian doctors. I just want to spend five minutes to say that in the last years, we hosted many Indians in our post-graduate programs. As you read, I am director of an LLM, like MBA, but in the field of law, 1 year course, 1 year program for students who are graduated in the field of artificial intelligence, European private law, and human rights. And I'm also director of a postdoc program in new technologies and law. And both of these programs are very international. We have a lot of candidates from more than 20 countries. But I can say that above all, the postdoc program hosts a lot of Indian doctors. And for us, it's a great pleasure to have these candidates. We have many scholarships, so the doctors and the students from India pay half price in comparison to the fees that Italian or European students and doctors pay. So if you want to contact me at the end of this conference, I will give you my details, my contacts. You can write to me if you are interested in our programs. For us, is always a pleasure to work with Indians. So thanks again for the invitation. I would like to share a presentation. If it's possible, I'll try to open it. Can you see the presentation?
Yes, sir, it's visible, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Yes.
So, great. So we can say that today, all over the world, artificial intelligence, robotics, machine learning, blockchain, smart contracts are some of the topics on which a lot of scholars are focusing their attention, because the influence of this technological innovation in the daily actions of human beings poses a lot of legal questions that cannot be ignored by law experts. If the last century was recognized as the... Can you hear me? I hope everything is okay.
Yes, sir, please continue, sir. No problem.
Perfect. If the last century was recognized as the century in which there was the biggest promotion of human rights, a lot of conventions, declarations, acts, treaties were enacted in order to protect human rights, we can say that this century, unfortunately, can be the century of the destruction, of the failure of human rights because of too much technologies, because of these artificial intelligence systems. Of course, we hope that the situation will be different, because as I always say, artificial intelligence systems are neutral. We cannot say that new technologies are positive or negative. For sure, there are some advantages connected to artificial intelligence, robotics, and so on. We have more powerful and more useful computers and robots, new and improved interfaces. We have a better handling of information and solving new problems. There's the reduction in human errors, human mistakes. Robots are able, or software in smart softwares are able to make a lot of operations with a real few possibility of mistakes. Robots, machines are available 24 hours per day. They can help in repetitive and in alienative jobs, like sending mail, verifying some documents. I think that even in our universities, it would be very useful to have a robot, because if I need to read, I don't know, some articles of some strange constitutions, I can ask the robot to read these articles, and robots can do it immediately without spending a lot of time to find the documents, to find the articles, and so on. Robots could take risks instead of humans. We can imagine the possibility to use these robots in order to defuse a bomb, to explore the deepest parts of oceans. And we can imagine in the period of pandemics, of lockdown, for example, if there is a virus, a robot could also be used in order to spread the medicines, because a robot cannot be infected and cannot infect other people. So now we are talking in many countries, we are talking about the possibility to use robots in the hospitals. Digital assistants, for sure. Now, today we have a very good chatbots, and sometimes we are not able to understand if we are talking to a robot or to a real person. Faster decisions. Robots, software of artificial intelligence can take faster decisions today. Of course, there are a lot of disadvantages, a lot of risks. First of all, we have a high cost of creation and updating these robots. Few experienced programmers, few practical products have reached the market as yet. So today we can say that robots, some artificial intelligence softwares are only for rich people. So this is the risk, that only rich people can take advantage considering the situation of these robots. But for sure, in future, the situation will be different. Another risk is that they can make humans lazy, because now machines can do everything. So some children are not able to make even a very easy operation, because they are used to use their machines. And there is for sure the risk of addiction to these inventions, these new technologies. And what happens if there is a general blackout? You know, when WhatsApp or Instagram or Facebook don't work for 1 hour, 2 hours, we become completely crazy, because we are all addicted to these new technologies, to the social networks. So this is the real risk. The possibility that if there is a general blackout, we are not able to face this situation. Another risk for sure is the risk of unemployment, because artificial intelligence is replacing the majority of the repetitive tasks and other works with robots. So we'll see that in the markets, they are automatic machines. In future, we will have taxis without drivers. So for sure, many people will lose their job. Another problem is connected to the lack of emotions. We know that robots cannot be like human beings. They cannot feel emotions. Maybe they can simulate, they can pretend to feel emotions, but for sure we know that they are not human emotions. And many people also talk about the lacking out of box thinking. So machines can perform some tasks, can be able even to have a deep learning, but cannot be really intelligent like human people, like human beings, because human beings are able to face new problems, completely new problems, using like this instinct, natural instinct that maybe computers or robots cannot have. Today we have a lot of applications of artificial intelligence in different areas. As we can see, analysis of data in the field of medicine, in the transportation. Google Maps help us to find a better way to avoid the traffic. Artificial intelligence systems can help us if we have to communicate in a different language. We can use Google Translator, for example. No, we can say some words in Italiano. Io sono felice di essere qui. In few seconds, these oral words will be transformed into written words and translated into English. I'm very happy to be here, and it's possible even to hear these messages in English. And the same if you want to talk in Chinese, in Indian, in French. And these systems are every day more and more perfect, we can say. So there's a bigger reduction of mistakes considering what happened in the past. In the field of games, robotic toys, today we have artificial intelligence systems. For example, there is this application, Midjourney, which permits us to create real masterpieces, we can say. For example, I used this application. I wrote Brazil conference in Brazil because I had to go to Brazil for a conference, and they immediately created these images. Then I wrote judges in Brazil, and this was the creation. And you cannot understand if it was created by a human being or an artificial intelligence system. This was created by an artificial intelligence system. So you can imagine in future probably we will not need to go to some human beings expert of graphics because we can use these systems. Also in the field of music, today we have the possibility to create some songs. And I want to click here in order to permit you to listen to this song created by an artificial intelligence software. I hope you can hear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
This is the song.
So the song audio is not audible in the meeting.
I don't know if you can hear the music.
We need to go on device sound.
Okay, but you can find by yourself. That is car. You can write this course. It's possible to find in Google. That is car. It was created by a system of artificial intelligence, and many singers right now, many composers are using some systems just to be helped in the creation of the composition of their songs. For sure, we can say that today there is the need for the adoption of a legal framework because there are many risks for human beings, for human rights, fundamental rights. We have an European ethical charter on the use of artificial intelligence in judicial systems and their environment. We have some important principles in this European ethical charter. Principle of respect of fundamental rights is the first and the most important principle. It's not possible to design, to create artificial intelligence tools and services which are not consistent with fundamental rights, which create big risks for human rights. Principle of no discrimination, because of course some intelligent softwares can be created with some prejudice, with some discrimination orientation. So it's important to respect this principle of no discrimination. Principle of quality and security, principle of transparency, impartiality, and intellectual integrity, and the principle under user control. So human beings should be always able to know what these softwares do with our data, for example. It's important because this European Ethical Charter gives a first definition of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a set of scientific methods, theories, and techniques whose aim is to reproduce by a machine the cognitive abilities of human beings. Current developments seek to have machines perform complex tasks previously carried out by humans. So if you want, you can go to read this European Ethical Charter. I don't want to lose a lot of time because I have just 20 minutes, so I'm going quickly give you like a general overview about the problems connected to the impact of artificial intelligence on human rights. And it's very important also proposal of a regulation, European regulation of artificial intelligence. European Commission decided to create to promote this regulation. So this proposal of regulation based on the difference between some systems who pose an acceptable and a high risk for human rights. So if there is a system which can create an acceptable risk for human rights, in this case, it's not possible at all to introduce these systems. So European Union says we cannot accept in Europe the possibility to have a systems of artificial intelligence which create an unacceptable risk for human rights. So these are completely not admitted, completely prohibited in European Union. Other systems which create simply a high risk for human rights must be controlled. For example, systems related to critical infrastructure, to educational trainings, to safety components of products, or employees selection. In this case, there is a high risk for human rights, so there are two requirements in this case. Human control must be present. So it's not possible to leave these softwares alone. It's important that in every second, human beings can interfere, can come and correct the mistakes of the machine. And also it's important to give a very complete information to the users. And the users must be informed about the risk. It's important that there is the traceability of the results, adequate information, and so on. Then we have other systems with the present low risk for human rights. In this case, users need to be aware that they are interacting with a machine. For example, in case of deep fake, where a person's images and videos are manipulated to look like someone else. You know, in Facebook, there are many systems like this. You can choose to see how you are when you are older, or if you are a very important person, VIP. So these systems can manipulate your pics, your photos. In this case, users must declare that the image or video content has been manipulated. So it's just important to be informed about this. And European Commission draft does not give any importance to artificial intelligence systems that pose little or no risk at all for human rights for European citizens, such as artificial intelligence systems used in video games. To conclude, I think that right now, like in Europe, all over in the world, it will be important to introduce some legal framework in order to avoid that new technologies can create serious damages for human beings. You know, today, theoretically, we can create a robot which could be a soldier, or a robot which could be used to spread drugs, and it could be built in a way that if it be blocked by police, it can destruct itself and maybe create a problem for collectivity. We can imagine robots in the hands of integralists, Muslim integralists. So we can have serious problems for humanity. For this reason, I think that it is important to reach a general regulation all over in the world, not only in Europe. These are my contacts if you want to write to me. I'm absolutely open to every type of collaboration with you. And thanks a lot for your invitation. Thanks again. It was a great honor, a great pleasure for me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Really, it is an honor for Maharashtra state in the country of India. And today, we Maharashtrians have together, and most probably, I would like to say on a very large thing, that Indians have invited the people all around the world, that is from Italy and Malaysia. Two eminent personalities have joined us for the international webinar. And and the third eminent guest in this program would be the High Court judge. So he's a sitting judge who will be joining us soon. So basically today, on the International Human Rights Day, as we all know that we Navjivan Law College, Nasik, who is an aided college. First of all, I would like to inform about to the audiences about our college, that Navjivan Law College is an aided college. Our college is permanently affiliated with Savitribai Phule Pune University. Our college is recognized by Bar Council of India, recognized by UGC 2F12B, and we are at present running the courses of LLB 3 years, LLB 5 years. We are having taxation law and labor law diploma courses. Last year, we have started with certificate course in advocacy skill. This year, today, in the welcome function of our first year students, we have inaugurated the program with the personalities of our Navjivan Education Society, that is Honorable Bade Sir, Subhashji Deshmukh Sir, and Bade Madam, Shri Vijaya, So Vijaya Deshmukh Madam, who have inaugurated and released today the flyer, which consists of the details that we are launching with the certificate program today. And this certificate course is in cyber crime, security and law. The advanced version of this program, which sir have already discussed about the various laws, artificial intelligence and human rights. Sir has rightly said about that in future it may happen that teachers would not be there, we humans would not be there, and only robots will be there, and they are going to teach the students, or the doctors, they will be also not humans, but they will be machines who will be operating the persons, and drivers would not be there, and the machines would be there who would be driving. So all these things would be in future, which our learned friend Dr. Angelo Ferraro sir have discussed about various consequences in future, what all things would be happening. And really it is an honor for both the institute, Dayananda College of Law, Latur. I really would really appreciate the efforts that the principal, Dr. Poonam Nathani madam, and both the coordinators of this program, Dr. Shubhangi Panchal madam of Dayananda College of Law, and Dr. Pradnya Savarkar madam of our Navjivan Law College, who have taken so much efforts and dedication for this program, that we need to reach to the maximum of the people. And that is why today on the international webinar, more than 109 participants are there at present who have joined, and many are there watching us on YouTube live and other platforms, and really and great honor. So at present we can have some questions if any audiences want to ask to Angelo Ferraro sir, if any questions, so that if you write in the chat box, so it will be the coordinators who will be looking after the question answer session for 10 minutes, and then we will start with the guest of honor and the chief guest to finalize the program. And for that purpose, I request Dr. Shubhangi Panchal madam to give us the introduction. Shubhangi Panchal madam.
Yes, ma'am. It was just a break of the voice. I think you have some The screen has been shared, ma'am. Please look into it. Is it from your side? Because it is no. Yeah, the screen is being shared.
It is from sir's side.
So can we request you to please unshare that since the screen is being shared? And I think our guest of honor, sir, has joined our meeting. Mr. Rahul, can you please make them presenter of the meeting? Yeah. In the present meeting, till the questions are coming, I just want to inform, even I'm very happy to inform our resource person, sir, also, that the Dayanand College of Law, Dayanand Education Society is Dayanand College of Law in Latur, in Maharashtra. So we are together trying, we are having a golden jubilee celebration. We had a golden jubilee celebration last year. So since 1971, it has been established, and in the rural areas, especially, we are working together to give professional teaching of law, legal education to our students way back in the focusing on the rural background mainly, and to bringing them to the mainstream so that they are competent and they are competitive to all in all the arenas of the legal field. So we are having here a 3-year, 5-year course as well as integrated course of law of 5 years as well as a 3-year degree course. We are having a PhD research center of law, and we are permanently affiliated to Swami Ramanand Tirth Marathwada University, Nanded. And with the research center, along with the regular courses, we do have the value added courses and certificate course of human rights. We're having a center for human rights, sir, and we are conducting many such social legal surveys and social legal programs under the Human Rights Center and other centers which are working together for the cause. We are having the strength of nearly 1,200 students and the all the faculty members, dedicated faculty members working towards our teaching profession. I think a question has come. Yes, Mr. Kiran Kakade.
Hello.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
Am I audible,
Yes, you
ma'am?
are audible. Please go ahead with the question.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. I'm Kiran Kakre, LLM second year student from Dan Law College, Latur. Sir, I'm having a background of technology, and I'm much interested in implementing technology in legal field. So I work on one paper also, which is recently get patented in India. That is how I just built one algorithm, machine learning algorithm, to detect the pattern recognitions of the criminals, and it will helps in investigation during investigation process. So just I want to ask you, sir, what is the future of technology, especially when we are looking towards the legal field? How we can look towards analytics or machine learning or AI that will influence the legal field in upcoming decade or in upcoming 5 or 10 years?
Thank you very much for the question. Very interesting questions. I always tell my students that many things that they are studying right now maybe will not be useful in future, because artificial intelligence will influence all the fields of law. You talked about the applications in the field of criminal law, but we can imagine also in the field of contract law. We are dealing with these smart contracts. In the field of administrative law, labor law, in all the different fields of law, we have the application, the field of liability, for example. in the field of property, intellectual property. So if I create this photo using an artificial intelligence systems, who is the owner? The person who created the software, the person who created the imagine, giving these words, keywords, like Brazil conference, or these images can be downloaded by everybody, so they belong to the humanity. These are big questions. So it's difficult to say what is the future of law, considering the artificial intelligence. For sure, I think that students today must study this topic. So in all the universities, I think we should introduce subjects like informatics, artificial intelligence, and so on. For this reason, I created two programs, Master of Laws, LLM, and postdoc programs in the field of artificial intelligence, because it's the future. I think that students, doctors, must deal with this question, with these topics. And today we have more questions than answers, to be honest. We can deal with predictive justice. No, for sure, machines can help us to analyze millions of documents and to read thousands of sentences. So for sure, they can give us some prediction about the solution which Supreme Court will give us. So for sure, these systems will help lawyers, judges, even just the common citizen who can use these systems to know if there is a high percentage of possibility to win a litigation, because if it's unuseful, these citizens will not spend a lot of money to contact a lawyer if they already know that they don't have big chances to win the litigation. So thanks for the question. It's a very interesting question. For sure, there will be a revolution in the field of law in future.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Ma'am, we have with us, I'm very much happy to tell that our guest of honor, Mr. Gerald Joseph, sir, human rights consultant, and Honorable Mr. Gerald Joseph, sir, human rights consultant and former commissioner of Human Rights Commission of Malaysia. I'm very happy to join you here, sir. I would like to request our principal, Dr. Poonam Madam, to please welcome our guest of honor of today's international webinar.
Thank you, Shubhagi Madam. Respected our today's... Ma'am, I'm audible?
Yes, ma'am. You are audible, ma'am.
Yeah. Respected our guest of today's program, Honorable Dr. Gerald Joseph, sir, Human Rights Consultant, former Human Rights Commissioner, Malaysia. The resource person of the program, Dr. Angelo Ferraro, sir, Principal of Naujivan Law College, Dr. Sahista Inamdar Madam, and all the August gathering. I extend warm welcome to our another guest, Gerald Joseph, sir, to today's program. Sir, we are very thankful to you for taking out the time to share your experience and sharing this platform with our students. These are the opportunities when we get chance to hear the luminaries from various fields. So we are trying to give the best to our students from all the arenas. So once again, I welcome you, sir. So I feel chief guest has also joined. Yeah.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Makran Karnik, sir, Judge. Sir.
Welcome, sir.
Very much welcome, sir.
Sir, on behalf of Dayanan College of Law, Naujivan College of Law, Nasik, Latur, I extend warm welcome to you, sir, to today's program. We are very happy to receive you all at this platform.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah.
I would like to thank.
Yes.
I would like to request our resource person, sir. Sir, kindly unshare your screen as it is. Dr. Ferraro, sir. Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Sir, I thank you very much also for such a good explanation, even in crisp way you have given, you have discussed on the main issues relating to artificial intelligence and human rights. You have also explained the law relating to the European law about high risk involved artificial intelligence and the low risk one. Thank you very much, sir, for all your inspiring and enlightening speech, and also very satisfactorily answering to the question of the students. Thank you. And with this, I would also like to welcome our Gerald Joseph, sir, our guest of honor, as well as I heartily welcome our chief guest, sir, Honorable Sri Makran Karnik, sir. And we are very much, yes, sir, we are very much very lucky, in fact, that all our students, all our faculty of both the colleges, we have together your valuable time. I would like to first invite our guest of honor, sir, uh, to share his experience, to share his thoughts. But before that, sir, I would like to give you a brief introduction, and I'd like to introduce you to our gathering. So this is really a August gathering of our international webinar, which is studded with such a legal luminaries and stalwarts, our guest, our chief guest, our guest of honor, and our resource person. We are happy to receive every one of you, sir. Gerald Joseph, sir. Uh, for the last 30 years, Mr. Gerald Joseph, sir, has been a human rights defender and an experienced trainer, consultant at both local and international levels on human rights issues concerning the rights of indigenous people, elimination of racial discrimination, and economic, social, and cultural rights. Mr. Joseph Gerald, sir, recently completed his term of 6 years as Commissioner of SUHACAM for the term of 2016 to 19 and 2019 to 22, and chaired the working group of complaints and monitoring of SUHACAM. Pioneering the program of non-discrimination since 2006 in Malaysian CSO context, Sir has developed advocacy and education tools on combating the racial discrimination. He is a senior CSO member who has led the Malaysian NGOs reporting to the Universal Periodic Review working group in Geneva. He was a chairman of the Asian People's Forum process in 2006-2007. Sir has also served as a member of various human rights organizations, including the Commonwealth Foundation Advisory Body, Asian South Pacific Bureau for Adult Education, Asia Pacific NGO Steering Committee of World Conference Against Racism, etc., etc. Sir was also an advisory lay chaplain in 2003, during 2003 to 2007 for International Movement for Catholic Students Asia Pacific. Sir has been the coordinator for the duration of 2001 to 2004 for Pax Romana of Asia Pacific. Sir has chairs the Executive Council of Forum Asia Now. Presently, Sir is a board member of Pusat Komas and Greenpeace Southeast Asia. Sir also continues in his involvement in human rights consultant and trainer locally and globally. Sir, this was just a glimpse of all encompassing. I could not encompass all your achievements and contributions, sir. This was just a glimpse of it. So please forgive me if something I have missed. So, but your contribution has very much at the international and global level. I would like to request you to please share your feelings to the meeting.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Can you see my video?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's working. Okay.
You're perfectly audible.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I'm honored to be invited because it's an important day. So to wish all of you, Dr. Sangeeta, Dr. Pradya, Dr. Shahista, Poonam, and of course our Honorable Justice Sri Makaran and Dr. Angelo, a happy Human Rights Day, and to all participants. I think it's very symbolic that we don't miss this day. And I'm actually here in Bangkok doing a regional, 7-day regional human rights training for human rights defenders from about 15 countries. So this connection is very good. Congratulations. And in our celebration this morning, we want to celebrate the goodness of human rights and the strength of human rights, but we also know the painful struggle at every corner of our world, from very serious violations of discrimination, torture, death in custody, disappearance, land rights, women's rights. So the list is long. But I'm saying that because while we haven't finished the first round of headache for finding some protection and lasting solution for human rights, we have started on the next round of headache, and that headache is the headache of artificial intelligence, and that's going to be a really a difficult one to handle because it's new, because it's also exciting, and I as a human rights person, I've been wondering this question. So the artificial intelligence, is that going to be our friend? There's so many things in the world we are struggling to get it right. So can that be a tool to support us, or it's going to be round 2.0 of human rights violation coming up? So I think that's probably the background to what's going to happen. But let me say that as a human rights person, we will always want to ask any new development, what's the human rights framework or approach that we would want in this technology? Is this technology promoting the principle of inclusivity, non-discrimination? No? Does this technology promote meaningful participation? Is this technology empowering the human being to be part, not to exclude, but to actually be involved, to have the right to self-determination, to choose, to have the choices and not lose that agency of choice? And then is there a framework for accountability, although we have new technology to take life to the next stage for our basic needs? So, and in the utilization of this artificial intelligence, I think then we will struggle now. I think the professor before me was already saying uncharted territory, and we will have to decide how to link this emerging, exciting new possibilities with the standards of international human rights that we have. So as I talk, I'm thinking of the cars that now can drive on its own, you know. It's quite amazing and shocking, but yet it is also could be safer. Would it reduce accidents? Would it be much cars that won't speed, won't pass the red light? So suddenly you wonder, this possibility sounds good. Then we're also going to have a lot more assistance in working in a home, in managing the alarm system, the music, the sound, electricity, not wasting electricity at home, how it can control so the usage is so minimum and it supports climate change. So we're saying, wow, someone is going to assist me to make sure I'm doing it right, because we will forget off the light, we will let the water run for too long. So maybe all this is going to be supported through technology. Then in terms of bigger decision making, usually now we speak from our limited experience, say 10 people in a boardroom, we give our ideas based on our experience, then we come to a decision. But now with so much of access to information or Google, but this is even artificial intelligence, they can actually check precisely exactly what is needed in order for humans to make the decision. So that is another new addition. We're also seeing healthcare robots, robots that are helping the older people, the one who need assistance. So it sounds like, wow, doesn't sound that bad. And also you're realizing that robots are taking the place for cleaning in homes and doing many functions. And of course, we're also getting more worried because we've seen movies, and we are now seeing drones in action. It's not robots, but I think we're not far away from drones on land to help military. So it's good that it would not impact human life, but it's bad because they can produce 1 million of these artificial entities, and will it bring peace or bring more war? So I think I'm at a stage where I'm excited with this new discovery, but I'm also wondering how the agency will be in our hands. So I think the control of the ownership of this technology. At this point, I'm still calling it technology because it's artificial intelligence. So you train it, you put data, you grow its strength and analytical tool in order to respond. So I think if the human oversight body, the human beings are involved in that development with the control of those tools and those keys, I think that would be what is needed, no? Because I think in our minds we're wondering about the risk in the future. Will this artificial intelligence suddenly become intelligent and take over the human intelligence? At this stage, I still think we're not there yet. The human person is still very much involved. But of course, we will start changing a lot of the way we do things, and labor, the manual labor that we all work through may be change format because they can move to technology. But the question is that agency to decide, the self-determination, which is a right in all our beings because of our dignity, that cannot be replaced by a robot's dignity. So like moral discernment, no, where we normally have judgment, where although we know 3 plus 2 is 5, but then when we look at the condition, we say, no, this doesn't deserve our intervention at this point. So that kind of understanding consciousness is still a human trait that I'm sure you can input into the machine, but at a certain time, that response level need to be co-interacted with the human being. So I think these are the questions that we will be wondering, and we will be, while excited about the so-called super intelligence, robots, kindness, jobless future, but the only question is, will this amplify our humanity? Will this give us more opportunities for the human beings to come out of poverty? Those who have been left behind will now feel back part on the normal line with all others. So will this mean we don't need to work so much, but we can still have a quality life? These are the questions that I'm sure is running through our many minds. And I'm sure a lot of it is totally still unanswered, but of course we are seeing technology moving so fast. We are also maybe worried, like, will it supersede us? But I think we must demand oversight, human oversight, independent oversight on the creation. And so to ensure that the dangers are mitigated, and the human element that machines cannot do must be left to humans. And I think because it's a new technology, the lessons of looking in the mirror is, I think, important. So if there is a public disclosure, there was oversight, society, governments can learn from whatever is happening. But if you leave only the private company developing in secrecy, that's going to be dangerous. So I think we will have to find ways to bridge the gap. We'll have to find ways to be ready for the risk. If we don't have control on the core of the technology, we need a responsible oversight, and that has to be independent, has to be empowered by law, and no shortcuts, even though it may promise a lot of saving or a lot of strength for a government, especially on military part. I think we need to not be swayed by what it can do, and we must never compromise the value of the human person, and that's important. And I think we have to remain responsible as the key agents for the human race. So the issue of values, morality, rights, standards, that should still be in our hands, and that has to be checked regularly. Who's inputting into this machine, and how much it can go, and to test it, but always make sure the human person, the oversight, has the agency. But I also want to start thinking of how some of our rights can be enhanced by utilizing this artificial intelligence. for humanity's sake, and I'm thinking of many possibilities that may be good. But I'm sure we are worried that it may take over and bypass us one day. But at this point, I still think as long as the control is through law, very clear, public, transparent law with clear, independent oversight, empowered body, I think things will move properly. So I think the UN international body needs a global framework where nobody can try funny tricks and get away. At this point, there is no such global framework. So because it's experimental and a new framework, so it still sounds like anyone can do anything. But I think the time has come for us to push for standards for this globally, which very much complies with international human rights standards, international standards for integrity and oversight. I think with that, I come to end for my presentation. Thank you.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah.
Am I audible, sir? Yes. I'm heartfelt. I'm very much expressing my gratitude, sir, because the time you spoke, but actually the so many thought-provoking ideas you have given to us. You have really caught up the central theme of the webinar, because one side we are excited with the artificial intelligence getting our work done faster and speedier, but at the other same time, today is the occasion to think about what the risk and how we are prepared for the challenges in the future. Of course, you have focused mainly on these intricate questions, and also utilizing this artificial intelligence in the implementation and realization of human rights. That, of course, is a work which we have to think about. So you have also underlined on the main important of need of a legal framework at the international as well as at the national level. So the whole gist which you have given in this very brief but very important speech, we are very much thankful for such an thought-provoking and enlightening speech, sir. Thank you, sir. We are happy to receive you, sir.
Thank you.
And for your valuable time also. Thank you. Now we will move on. We will be approaching towards our chief guest. So I would like to request Dr. Pradnya Madam to please introduce our chief guest to our audience. Pradnya Ma'am.
Yes, hello. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. It's really a great privilege to introduce our today's chief guest, Honorable Justice Sri Makaranda Karnik sir, Judge, Bombay High Court, Mumbai. Sir is born in Nasik. He completed his LLB in 1991 from Pune University by securing first class with distinction. He enrolled as an advocate with the Bar Council of Maharashtra and Goa in 1991 itself. Since then, practiced at the Bombay High Court and appeared in a number of civil, criminal, labor, service and constitutional matters. He engaged as a senior counsel Group 2 to represent the Government of India. So also represented the High Court administration from 2019 till elevation. He appointed as an amicus curiae in several matters. He also elevated as an additional judge Bombay High Court on 17th March 2016. Here, I again welcome you, sir. We are very happy to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, Pradnya ma'am, for introducing our chief guest. I would like to request our chief guest. So we are all excited to hear you on this topic. Thank you, sir. Please, the whole mic is yours now.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, one and all. Respected Principal Inamdar Madam of the Navjivan Law College, the in-charge Principal, Dr. Poonam Nathani of the Dayanand College of Law, distinguished guests of honor, Honorable Dr. Gerald Joseph, whom we just heard, respected Professor Dr. Angelo Ferrero, distinguished faculty, respected professors, dear students, ladies and gentlemen. The Secretary General of the United Nations today said, and I quote, "Human rights reflect the most fundamental thing we share, our common humanity." I wish you all on this Human Rights Day, which is celebrated worldwide. A very happy Human Rights Day. I don't want to dilate much on the fundamentals of human rights, which we are all well aware of and which we cherish. Given the time constraint, I would straightaway touch one aspect which needs to be addressed and which has been addressed by Dr. Gerald Joseph. And these are my very personal views which I place before you. Notwithstanding that artificial intelligence is nothing less than modern day magic, for artificial intelligence to be a real success, we must consider and work on the flip side of it as well, as Dr. Gerald Joseph has briefly put it. Lawyers and policymakers are duty bound to foresee the risks and dangers of any new thing that comes up and must put in place a regime to plug in those loopholes. Privacy, as a basic human right, is now a settled position across most nations in the world. In a few authoritarian jurisdictions, profiling and surveillance of masses is being carried out by the state. This is unfortunately being done through an associated technology of facial recognition that enables CCTV cameras to identify individual movement pattern and activities. It is reported that some firms have built software that uses AI to sort data collected on residents, known as one person, one file. This sophisticated use of artificial technology not just collects footage on movements of public within the country, but also identifies individual, sorts data, and profiles it in such a way that one click allows for all movements to be tracked. The ethics of such surveillance is debatable, to say the least, especially when one tries to think about the extent to which it will interfere in the lives of individuals and their privacy. Thanks to the sophisticated AI surveillance, marginalized groups shall find it harder to escape and avail the right of seeking asylum in a foreign land to escape persecution. AI algorithms, as I understand, are tools used to predict certain outcomes that we need to know but we cannot observe because of our computational limitations as human beings. It is therefore being used in labor market by employers when recruiting by predicting the future performance and behavior of potential new employees. But how do these algorithms predict those outcomes? The answer is data. We feed the computer lots of data. The machine digests it, learns from it, and makes its predictions. But what if there are problems with the data? The data we use for training artificial intelligence algorithms represent reality and the biases of the unequal society in which we now live and operate. A study conducted in the Fortune 500 companies using AI showed that women and lower income groups have been discriminated against and not shown as potential candidates for the job. The next issue with algorithms I would like to address is the lack of algorithmic transparency. For example, the people who were denied jobs, refused loans, were put on no-fly lists or denied benefits without knowing why that happened, other than the decision was processed through some software. Information about the functionality of algorithms, often intentionally, is poorly accessible. This leads to denial of right to challenge the decision, making process or legally contest the decisions of an AI software, as you can readily identify what went wrong. For example, if you were denied a loan by a bank based on the predictions of the artificial intelligence. Being a student of law, I cannot help but worry about the manner in which AI technology can cause damage to persons and property. Like Dr. Gerald Joseph just said, technology is moving fast. Many questions are unanswered. We have to find ways to bridge the gap. We have to control AI somehow. From driverless cars running over pedestrians, damage caused by a crashing partially operated drone, to wrongful medical treatment diagnosis by an AI software program, there can never be a closed list of nightmares caused by an otherwise quintessential technology that shall now become a way of life for all of us. This, in my view, may lead to breach of human rights, which we will have to address, and really fast. The legal system as it stands on date is not fully equipped to deal with ascertaining culpability in such cases. It is trite knowledge to the common man that a series of parties are involved in an AI system. Then who do you blame? The data provider, the designer, manufacturer, programmer, developer, or the user, or the AI system itself? If it is the system, it's the AI system itself, what form of retribution can we provide the victim as courts of law? The crux of this entire discussion is that liability is difficult to establish when something goes wrong and human rights are abused by AI. Some scholars argue that AI being a program is a product subject to product design legislation or a service to which the tort of negligence applies. It is further argued that strict liability may be appropriate to discourage lackadaisical product testing and incentivize quality control. Nonetheless, strict liability has its own limitation because if one can foresee the solutions an AI may reach or the effects it may have on human rights, one also cannot engage in conduct that strict liability is designed to incentivize, such as taking necessary precautions. Naturally, as time goes by, we will get better at it, but for the first few years, human civilization may have to bear huge costs. Other academics have suggested imposing criminal liabilities of AI entities, that is, responsibility for harm caused, and exploring whether an AI entity itself be criminally liable, which is seemingly absurd, though academically relevant. Despite the said observations, we must realize that we are heading for a revolution change in the way things work. Humanity invariably needs to suffer accidents, human rights breaches, and detrimental errors of AI for the next few years until innovation keeps up. There can be no denying that AI has its own benefits in the field of medicine, law, rescue operations, national security, and the like, and so on and so forth. I would like to conclude by sharing some common wisdom of there being winners and losers with every change of status quo. AI would ameliorate lives for a massive chunk of humanity while leading others to suffer the brunt of unemployment, redundancy, and the like. There is pressing need to address the human rights issues that are posed by the use of AI. If I may put it this way, AI should not dominate our lives completely. AI is a product of original human intelligence. AI should never eclipse the natural human intelligence. We have to be very careful about how AI dominates our lives and our minds. Let it be useful to us, let it provide succor to us, but let us not succumb to it. That is the last final word I will put on it, and wish you all the best. Thank you so much for inviting me and being a part of such an enlightening webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, for such a. We were spellbound hearing to your thoughts on this artificial intelligence and human rights, sir. Basically, you have shown the concern mainly because of the discrimination which may be caused due to the artificial intelligence and due to the algorithms that are taken without any human sensitivity or without even human judgment. Sir, you have posed so many questions relating to the legal arenas, relating to the torts or the liability, imposing of liability. This is a very serious concern which we have to be prepared for. At the same time, sir, the last sentence which you told, the last thought which you shared was it was an ultimate this thing that we should not succumb to them. Of course, the artificial intelligence is created by the humans, so it should be used. It's a tool which should be used very wisely and implement it for positive things rather than succumb to it and face its disadvantages. So thank you very much, sir, for giving such it was really an intellectual feast for all of us to think. And today's webinar, I think, is not only a happy Human Rights Day, but it is actually a thoughtful Human Rights Day, which has forced all of us to think over it with all the legal luminaries and the stalwarts sharing their thoughts on the topic. Thank you very much, sir. I would like to proceed with the webinar by requesting Principal Shaista Inamdar Madam, Dr. Shaista Inamdar Madam, to please give the concluding remarks of the webinar. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Shubhangi Panchal, ma'am. It is really a great honor On this occasion of International Human Rights Day, we, Navjeevan Law College, Nasik and Dayananda College of Law, Latur, Maharashtra, India, have come up with the international webinar on artificial intelligence and human rights. As you all know that today, on the occasion of this Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948, it was been adopted by UN General Assembly. And to mark the gratitude towards it, we are happy and proud to have three eminent personalities from Italy. The resource person, Dr. Angelo Ferraro, sir, have guided us about the social media laws, robos, drone laws, and even he have quoted some examples like driverless cars and many more, that if like in future teachers would not be there, only robots would be teaching the people, then where is the Gurukul system which are in our country, which has been very much famous for? Similarly, our Gerald Joseph sir, who is from Malaysia, basically he was past High Commissioner, ex-High Commissioner, but at present he is human rights consultant, and he has presently joined us from Bangkok, and where he is providing various human rights teaching, and we are really happy and proud to have you, sir. And he had very aptly discussed about the emerging topic, how to link it with human rights. There should be no shortcuts, and we need to never compromise about the values of human race, values, moralities, and many things which was being discussed by Gerald Joseph, sir. And finally, our chief guest, Mr. Makaranda Karanik, sir, who is a sitting judge. I'm really very much impressed by his statements that he had mentioned about the liability, that whom to blame. This AI system, which we say that it is very much required due to technology. On one hand, we are saying that development is required, technology is required, but on the another hand, when we think of what about human rights, sir have talked about modern day magic. He had talked about artificial surveillance and artificial intelligence with quoting humanity. What is important is humanity. So at the end, while I'm summarizing, I would like to quote that Mansane, Mansashi, Mansa Samvada. Everybody have to treat each other as human beings. We need to respect towards each other. This is very important, which we are, in COVID pandemic, we have seen how people were treating each other. Where was the humanity? So we are losing this humanity. So now this is a high time to preserve it. This humanity is very much important to be preserved. Lastly, I would quote one example that recently, a few years, that there was a movie wherein the movie's name was Robo, R-O-B-O-T, wherein the character was Chitti. Chitti was the character. So if Chitti kills someone, Chitti takes away Aishwarya Rai, and it was being shown who is responsible. What sir was talking about, liability. So basically, Chitti has killed so many person. Now, in this scenario, who is responsible? Whether Chitti, that Robo, is responsible, or Rajnikant, who had made him, is responsible, or Danny, who was shown an evil person, who have changed the programming, whether he is responsible, or the Chitti fell in love with Aishwarya. So whether Aishwarya is responsible for all these things. So at the end, very importantly, as all the three eminent personalities have discussed about AI, that is artificial intelligence, and human rights. So we all need to think novice, and what is important is how the liability and the law is going to work on. Definitely, we are going to look after that. Technology is very much important, but it should not affect the humanity. That is very important. So thank you. Over to you, Shubhangi Panchal.
Thank you, ma'am, for such a nice summarizing of our whole international webinar. I would like to tell all our participants that if the guests permit, may I take some questions if the students are asking, if the time permits? So 1 or 2 questions? Any questions from the audience? I think Mr. Madhukar Kamble, he's yes, Mr. Kamble, you can go ahead with the question.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, madam. Sir, I would like to ask one question. As every human has right to get justice in time, delayed justice is denied justice. Now, whether artificial intelligence is going to help in India, which are pending cases, about 4.8 crore cases are pending in at different level in courts. So, whether the artificial intelligence that will be helpful to resolve such cases, and whether the results will be fair to everybody. Yes, sir.
Yes, may I answer this?
Yes, sir, please.
Yes, it's a very relevant question Mr. Kamble has put to us, and we have to think over it. This artificial intelligence is a very new product, and we are introducing it in the courts of law step by step. And we are going in a big way. The Chief Justice of India has recently said that everything will be digitalized. Well, artificial intelligence cannot substitute the decision making. It can work at some level. So, for example, there are cases, the numbers seem very large. The numbers are very big. But there are many cases which are very similar, like traffic offenses, or there may be cases where only fines are to be imposed. They are in large numbers. Or the cases pertaining to Negotiable Instruments Act, where settlements can be reached. It is here that artificial intelligence can be helpful to us. And it can surely help, provided we go in a proper way. I am no authority to comment on it right now, because we don't know the advantages, disadvantages. Let us put it to use. We are trying our best to put it to use. And hopefully, we should succeed. Let's be very positive about it. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Good evening.
The
Good evening.
second, thank you, Mr. Kamble. The second question, I think Mr. Kakadi has raised your hand. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Just I want to ask you, sir, is there any possibility to introduce any self-regulation institute in the field of robotics, sir, at national level, which will able to develop standards and code of conduct that are mandatory for owners of robots, agents to comply with it?
Me this question?
Yes, sir.
I'm not very sure about it, because I really don't know how it will be working. It's a policy decision which will be taken. The law courts are working on it. And we are working very seriously on it. There's a computer committee which is taking an informed decision, and the policy is in the process of, development. So therefore, I really cannot answer that question, sir, for you. Maybe I'll make a note of it, and surely that I may come back to you later.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I once again, I extend my heartfelt gratitude towards you, sir, for giving your valuable time to Dr. Angelo, sir, and also Honorable Justice, sir, that you have given your time for us, and you have excellently guided all of us, which will really be a very much important step in our study of artificial intelligence and the human rights. Now, for the next step, I would like to request Dr. Pradnya Madam to please propose the vote of thanks.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. A very good evening to one and all present here. It is well said that no duty is urgent than that of returning thanks. And here, it gives me an immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this program to all the dignitaries assembled here and acknowledge the contribution of those who worked really hard to make this International Human Rights Day celebration happen. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's occasion a resounding success. First and foremost, I thank our today's chief guest, Honorable Justice Sri Makaranda Karnik sir, Judge, Bombay High Court, who despite his very busy schedule has found time to grace this occasion. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I also express my heartfelt thanks to our guest of honor, Honorable Dr. Gerard Joseph Sir, Human Rights Consultant, former Commissioner, Human Rights Commission of Malaysia, for his words of encouragement, his kindness, his interest and support. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We are also grateful to our today's resource person, Professor Dr. Angelo Ferraro Sir, Aggregate Professor, Department of Law, Italy, for his words of wisdom. His able guidance will always encourage her. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I thank to Principal of Dayananda College of Law, Latur, and also the Principal of Navjivan Law College, Nasik, for their all kind of support for this function. Thank you, ma'am. I am also thankful to all the teaching faculty, teaching staff and non-teaching staff of Navjivan Law College and the Dayanand College of Law. Thank you all. I owe my special gratitude to all the technical staff for their technical support. I also thank to all the good hearts who work behind the screen. Thank you, everyone. Last but not the least, I thank you, my dear students and participants, for your patience and cooperation in making this function a resounding success. Finally, I leave you with this inspiring quote by Martin Luther King. He said, "An individual has not started living until he rises above the confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity." Once again, I thank you all for your attention. Thank you very much. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for being the representative, because all of us, our hearts are full of gratitude towards all our guests, and you had very rightly expressed it towards our guests. So thank you from all the participants, all the faculty, the management, the principal, everyone. We thank a lot for your valuable time and thought-provoking thoughts, sir. Thank you very much. Ma'am, Dr. Inamdar, ma'am, there's one notice for all the participants that we have shared the feedback link in our chat box. So you would be filling up the feedback, and you will be receiving the certificate of this webinar. Dr. Poonam, ma'am?
Yes, can we take all
we'll take a photo also.
Yes, yes. So even
this is a memorable moment for both the colleges. I would request the participants, if it is, please switch on your cameras if it is possible for you. I'll just take a screenshot of it. Yeah. Thank you very much. It has been a wonderful time with all of us. Thank you. Shall we conclude, ma'am? Will call up? Shaista, ma'am?
Yeah, okay, madam.
Yes, we'll be concluding. Poonam, madam, will be concluding.
Yeah, madam.
Yes.
Thank you, our guests, for such a wonderful day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Once again, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye, sir. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So do come to India, and when you are coming to India, please come to the Dayanand College of Law also.
Okay, for sure.
We'll be very happy to receive you.
I was 1 month ago in New Delhi.
Acha. Okay.
I hope to come back soon, but I wait for you in Italy as well.
Of course, sir. We'd be happy to come there also.
Perfect. Okay.
Thank you.
So,
But thanks to the technology again that we could meet through this virtual platform, at least.
yeah, it was great. It was great. Thank
It
you.
was great.
Congratulations. A very good conference. Well organized. Thank you very much.
The whole credit goes to you, sir. We had a very good resource persons and the chief guests.
Thank you. I think
Ma'am, your mic is mute.
Yeah.
Sir, we'll be looking forward for more and more opportunities to meet you, to hear you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
See you. Ciao. Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye, sir.